Top 10 Facts About the USA You May Not Know. The United States of America, the land of the free, consists of 50 states. Over 328 million people reside in America, making it the third most populous country in the world. The U.S. is also the fourth largest country in the world by total area. This vast country is well known across the globe and has a cultural imprint that is driven by technological innovation, popular movies, television, and music. The USA is a vast country and one that's incredible to explore. I mean, there are not that many countries that span for thousands of miles and include tropical and Arctic climates in one place and still have room for plenty of interesting facts. The U.S. has the fourth longest river system in the world. The Missouri River is the longest river in North America. The river derives from Montana, located at the base of the Rocky Mountains. It flows for approximately 341 miles, 767 kilometers, before it empties into the Mississippi River just north of St. Louis, Missouri. The Missouri River and the Mississippi River combine to create the fourth most comprehensive river system in the world. For thousands of years, many people have depended on the Missouri River. From drinking water to transportation, irrigation, flood control, and now even for the generation of hydroelectric power. As you can see, this extended body of water has played an essential role over the years. The U.S. has the largest economy in the world. The United States has maintained its position as the world's largest economy since 1871. The economy is so large that the U.S. is often noted as an economic superpower, and this is because it makes up almost a quarter of the global economy. The U.S. economy is connected to the country's enormous population, technological innovation, high consumer spending, high average incomes, and a moderate unemployment rate. New York was once New Amsterdam. Before New York was, well, New York, it was called New Amsterdam as a settlement by the Dutch that chose to settle in Manhattan. The name New York only came into being later in the 17th century when those pesky English who captured it. The name New York was to pay tribute to the Duke of York, who helped capture it. Today, you can still see plaques of where New Amsterdam's wall was built in 1653. The Statue of Liberty speaks French. The Statue of Liberty was actually a gift from the people of France to the United States in 1886. Possibly, the most iconic symbol of the United States, the Statue of Liberty, is one iconic piece of history you have to see when in New York. The U.S. then gave the French a slightly smaller Statue of Liberty as a gift 3 years later. This can now be seen proudly standing at Pont de Grenelle in Paris. Alaska was once Russian. Back in the earlier parts of the 19th century, Alaska wasn't part of the USA. In fact, it was a part of Russia. It wasn't until it was sold off to the Americans that it became a U.S. territory. It wasn't until almost 100 years later, in 1959, that Alaska actually became a state. The state now has numerous national parks and even the tallest mountain in the USA, called Denali. The American flag has had 27 versions. The first American flag only displayed 13 stripes as well as 13 stars that were arranged in a circle. The stars and stripes represented the 13 colonies that declared independence from Great Britain. While the origins of the first American flag are unknown, some believe it was designed by a New Jersey congressman, Francis Hopkinson, and sewn by a Philadelphia seamstress, Betsy Ross. Since the founding of the United States, there have been 27 versions of the American flag. Each new flag represented the addition of new states. Today, the American flag displays 50 stars representing the 50 states that make up the U.S. Washington, D.C., wasn't always the capital of America. Many recognize Washington, D.C., as the capital of the United States, but that wasn't always the case. Washington didn't become the capital until 1790. From 1785 until 1790, New York City served as the country's capital. While it may not be the capital today, over 8 million people reside in New York City, making it the most populous city in America, and it's one of the best cities to visit in the USA. While it is one of the best places to visit, it is also one of the rudest cities in America, so be sure to choose your words carefully with the locals. The U.S. doesn't have an official language. While English is predominantly spoken across the United States, on a federal level, there are no laws stating that English is the official language. However, although there are no federal laws, 31 states have declared English the official language. There are only a few officially bilingual states. For example, in New Mexico, the official language is English and Spanish, whereas, in Louisiana, the official language is English and French. Finally, in Hawaii, the official language is English and Hawaiian. The U.S. is called many names. The United States is by far the most famous country in the world. It's renowned for its attractions, such as the Grand Canyon, tech innovation, and sports, and it has a large imprint on the global culture thanks to famous movies, television shows, and music. Did you know that the United States of America is referred to several different names? Some of these recognizable names are the United States, the US, and America.